Second half about to get underway. No apparent changes for either side as we start this second session. Diego Lopez in goal for the hosts. David Lopez in front of him with Tico Duarte and Didac Vilap. Marc Roca, Victor Sanchez, 2X from La Masia, joined by Sergi Darder in the midfield. Perez and Melendo flanking Borja Iglesias. El Panda. More black and blue than black and white after that first half. Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Semedo, Piqué, Langley, and Alba. The back line. Rakitic, Busquets, and Vidal. Messi, Dembele, and Suarez. Ball rattles off Rakitic. Seemed to be a little unnerved. Maybe Langley with a clip. And it's out for a corner kick. Just over 24,000 in attendance here today, and might seem a bit strange, but they do have an interesting pricing scheme, and this was one of the high water marks. Ball bounds in, grabbed by ter Stegen at the near post.
Just on that ticket situation, I heard, and I stand corrected if I'm wrong, that the cheapest tickets were $100 and the most expensive $500. $100 per person cheapest ticket. Maybe in Catalonia they don't have the sort of wealth one gets around some of the big US cities to be able to afford that, but that could be a reason why the stadium isn't as full as it should be, because this has turned out to be a wonderful match so far. For those who are at the ground, even Espanyol fans have got to be saying Barcelona have been absolutely brilliant.
Ball bangs off Alba and out for the corner. A little bit more life from Espanyol. Of course, first 15 minutes they were on the front foot, then it took a messy free kick to knock them on their heels.
Borja Iglesias, he needs to score. He scored their last 6 goals. He's their talisman.
ter Stegen leaning to that near post, driven in, parried by Perez, but in the wrong direction. Dembele, just a blind clearance. Javi Lopez back to gather it in. Chance here for Borja. Vila, but couldn't get around Arturo Vidal. Philippe Coutinho back healthy, but Valverde electing to go with Vidal in the midfield and Dembele up front. Hard to argue with the decision at this point.
Oh, Dembele's been absolutely brilliant. As we see him win the ball here in midfield, he's been quick on the counter-attack. Dembele, he scored a wonderful goal. And there's no question that he must now be a regular starter in the team as long as he behaves and does the professional things that one would expect, and hopefully he's learned his lesson there. But again, in fairness to Valverde, decision correct, both that and playing Arturo Vidal wide on the right. You know, supporting Semedo has turned out to be the correct decision so far.
ter Stegen. Iglesias closing down, but the German getting rid of it. Strong step up by David Lopez. Homegrown Espanyol defender. Wide for Vila. Skips into the middle for Roca. Cleared away by Alba. Marc Roca flying forward. Actually started at La Masia, but left for Espanyol at 11. Here inside, trying to go through the legs and almost getting it done. Oscar Melendo.
Could he have had a shot there, Melendo? It drops for him in the box. He can see ter Stegen, he can shoot, and instead he tries to dribble past the defender and loses the opportunity.
Melendo, dangerous player, but doesn't score many goals. Ball driven in. Just had one throughout his professional career in league play, but he was the one that scored in the 88th minute to beat Barca back in January in the Cup.
Well, if he's only scored the 1 goal, perhaps that's why. You've got to shoot when you get in the box. You can't wait for the perfect opportunity.
Curl goes wide. Dembele curls with it. At a canter, Barca into the attack. Something we were talking about at the half. It's that pairing of Rakitic and Vidal around Busquets that seems to have stiffened the midfield for Barcelona. Something that is not always evident when, say, a flashier player like Arthur or Coutinho are out there.
Yeah, maybe it helps Busquets do what he is brilliant at, which is distributing the ball and picking up the measure of play and being available, because if they're doing the hard work for him, Rakitic and Arturo Vidal, if they're hunting down, if they're closing down this man, number 5 there on the ball, Busquets, he can do what he is brilliant at, which is just knocking the ball around, spraying it around, making sure the team is ticking over.
Well, they came in trying to impose the style. They start the second half the same way. Trickles in for Melendo, but staying with him is Rakitic, doing some of that dirty work.
I think you make a good point there. Well done to Espanyol. They've come out the locker room positive, and I wouldn't expect less from Ruby. You're 3-0 down. Yes, you want damage limitation, but you also want to put up a bit of a fight for the fans. So good to see Espanyol on the front foot here early in the second half.
Nice ball across. Ruby again. Credit to whatever he said at the half. Ball chipped, but was it deflected? Still in play. Never quite curled out. Vila takes down Semedo unintentionally, incidentally. Play on, says Del Cerro Grande. Melendo. Vila. Roca. Into the middle for Sanchez. He was one of those players that was in the Xavi Iniesta pipeline. Went to Switzerland and eventually back. Ball deflected away and does cross this time.
Another corner for Espanyol, putting nice pressure on Barcelona. I guess if you're a neutral watching this, a goal now might just spice things up. Get Espanyol back in the match, get their fans fired up. And set piece is always a good opportunity for any team to try and out-muscle Barcelona.
Swinging away from Sanchez, dropping to his line. Ter Stegen cleared away. The rebound deflects wide.
Good header. I think it was Arturo Vidal there with that header. Fantastic defending from Barcelona. And we saw it first half. We saw Messi tracking back and winning the ball. We saw everybody for Barcelona really getting stuck in.
Iglesias. Vidal comes from behind, and then in his own area, a little heel flick, but he knew it was Busquets on the other side. The Chilean, well, he's had to bide his time, but he's showing he might have been worth the wait. Off Piqué. Nope, off Borja. Let me ask you this. You hear the saying sometimes outside the dressing room in a situation like this where it's an apparent insurmountable lead at the break. Well, just go out there and win the second half. Do you ever have any of your managers ever tell you that?
Oh, yeah. No, often if you're way behind, they'll say, look, scrap the first half. Let's just go out and win the second half. And by that, they mean, you know, there's something to work towards here. Don't just give up the ghost. Don't go from 3-0 down to 6-0 down. Rather go out and maybe win the second half 1-0, and then it looks better. So it's just a psychological ploy, but a clever one, and one that often works.
Collision sees Messi down in a heap. Roca, the player who surrendered the free kick that Messi converted in the first half, maybe daring him to do it again.
Looks like he's hurt there. He doesn't often show pain, Messi.
Maybe just the solar plexus and trying to catch his breath, but he is reaching for that shin.
There's a bit of contact.
That's what it was. It was Javi Lopez coming in at the end and scraping into the ankle.
Yeah. And that left ankle.
Unintentional, but it doesn't make it hurt any less.
He's going to play through the pain. And again, he's an unbelievable example, I think, to any professional. The number of games he's played, he doesn't, just down tools because he's got a small knock.
By the way, getting back to the Pelé comments.
Oh, here we go.
One thing he did say about Neymar, another player that he credited, but said that the diving is something he's got to get rid of his game. And that's something Messi has never been accused of.
No,
and I think it's one of the reasons he gets calls is because a referee knows if Messi gets knocked down, he got knocked down.
Well, Messi's a true professional. I've never seen him dive either. It doesn't seem to come into his thinking. He's an honest player. Whereas Neymar, well, I think he's got better since the World Cup, but he needs to cut back on that. Let's have a look. What's going to happen?
Will Messi leave it? He does. Suarez into the wall, rattles around the rafters, and finally cleared away. Semedo.
Oh, lovely skills, Semedo.
But now do something with it. He does. Gives it back to Espanyol. Hits the afterburners and slows Perez down, and Vidal just gets rid of the danger.
It's a lovely combination there. Semedo loses the ball. Who's back? Arturo Vidal to help him.
Well, Batistao is up off the bench and getting some instruction. Talented player. Saw that back in his days at Rayo, but never quite exploded. Far side, Dembele battles through. Not much of a touch, but enough.
I didn't see too much either. I'd like to see it closely. Let's have a look here. Does Dembele get the... Ooh, I thought
it looked like he got the ball.
Got the ball, didn't he? Yeah.
Well, from that angle, referee a lot closer than we are.
But again, the situation, going back to VAR, wouldn't it be nice if that was played on, and then if it was a goal, you come back and see if it's a foul?
I think they're still adjusting. Although such a success, we're going to see it picked up, not just in the Champions League, but the later stages of the Copa del Rey this year. Cutting to the inside, the ball stays put though. Perez with a second effort earns a corner for Espanyol.
There you go. Arturo Vidal helping Semedo again on that right-hand side. I just wonder if Vidal's going to turn out to be a wonderful, wonderful player for Barcelona in terms of doing the hard defensive work.
Harried away by Rakitic, who does a lot of that as well, but there's an intensity to Vidal's game. Messi stays just onside and then threads the needle for Dembele. Staying back is Lopez. Squared now for Messi. Right foot denied by Lopez.
It's saved by the goalkeeper. But again, Messi, absolutely fantastic to get on that. And him and Dembele working so well together.
Alba from the right flank. It's like we're watching in a Bizarro universe. Now back. Touching it forward. Roca out wide from Hermoso. Now far side. Into the middle, Sanchez. Borja Iglesias wide. Perez to his left foot. Slips as he shoots, but Ter Stegen stays with it.
Comfortable for the goalkeeper. Decent effort from Espanyol. Nice and positive. But to be fair, it maybe should have been 4-0 to Barcelona at the other end. Messi with a great chance. And in fact, you think about it, there's a couple of chances first half. This could easily be 5 or 6. That's how well Barcelona have played here today. And I'm not so sure that Espanyol could do much about it. There's no criticism of them. They've worked hard. They've tried everything. It's just that Barcelona have been amazing.
The run never came. Alba with a little look in the heavens.
Espanyol shot again, but it's comfortable for Ter Stegen outside the box. Just drops on it. Borja Iglesias chasing up in case the keeper spilled it. Hernan Perez with the shot. Ter Stegen too good for that.
And here Lionel Messi dancing past Darder and almost. Well, the Paraguayan Perez will exit. Good match, just not quite good enough, and now they'll stick an extra attacker in. Leo Batistao got us started. Santos in the futsal courts alongside a certain Neymar Jr. Still good buddies. Batistao still stuck on that potential stage, though. Maybe a chance to turn that promise into gold here today. Sanchez, Villa, anticipated by Semedo. And with Sergio Roberto out for an extended time, Semedo taking advantage. Maybe a need to pick up some depth in the winter window. Not just there, Umtiti electing not to have surgery, but to go through alternative treatment to try and strengthen his knee. And even if it works, you'd figure Barcelona is going to have to get some cover just in case.
Absolutely. I think any top team constantly is looking to improve their playing staff and look for cover in case of injuries. Lenglet's done well. I really think he's done well, and Vermeulen's another option for them. But as a manager, you're probably looking for the best available in the world and wondering what that would cost you.
Trying to tackle it away, Javi Lopez. Espanyol also could be busy, maybe bringing back Eric Bailly from Manchester United. Well, he had a lot of success in Barcelona, not as much at Old Trafford. But he would be a strong backstop with David Lopez and Oscar Duarte. Here's Roca. Former Spanish youth international, wide for Lopez. In for Darder. And again, at least at the outset of this second half, it's a refocused Espanyol.
Certainly been positive, and again, credit to them and their coach Ruby. They haven't sat back. They haven't just limited the damage and gone, you know what, guys, let's keep it at 3-0. We don't want anything worse to happen. They're having a go at Barcelona. They just can't get out of this rut. 3 losses on the trot. This is likely to be their 4th. And without Borja Iglesias scoring, they just don't seem to be able to get a goal from anywhere else.
Messi dances through, finally saved by the whistle. Busquets pointing out it's been rather persistent, which is one of those descriptions when it comes to cards. Take another look there, the trip. Del Cerro Grande, one of those referees, as we take another look at the salvation from David Lopez, one of those referees who, quote unquote, lets them play. Averages less than 4 yellows a match, and he's yet to pull out a red or point to the spot.
I think Busquets was saying they can't keep kicking Messi. There's got to be a point the referee warns him and says, hey, enough's enough. Every time he's got the ball, he's had 2 or 3 blue and white shirts having a kick at him.
I remember it was against Espanyol, that famous one against Alvaro, the defender at the time, where he said, after he kicked him to the ground, "You're really short," and Messi turned around and said, "And you're really bad." They both laughed, and Alvaro in the post-match said, "We were both right." Melendo will exit, and now one of the Espanyol heroes will enter. Sergio Garcia now onto the pitch. Stepped in for his second stint with Espanyol just last season. Ball through. Suarez trying to pull it down. He gets pulled down instead. Of course, Garcia also part of that De La Peña era way back in 1995, joined La Masia and stayed with them for a decade before jumping to Zaragoza.
I think Suarez making the most of that. There's a faint touch. He went down like he'd been shot. He gets the free kick, and that's what he's there to do. I'm sure he takes enough kicks most of the time, so we let him off if he overplays his cards once in a while.
A little further to the left for Messi this time. 17th minute, he scored from about the same distance.
So what do you do if you're Diego Lopez? Do you sort of steal a yard and go towards where you think Messi might hit it, or do you keep an eye on your side of the goal, which, as we look, or from behind, is Lopez's left side?
He seems to be cheating to that post a little bit.
Exactly.
Messi, 4 in the wall in front, and Lopez providing extra distance into the corner. He's done it again. Unstoppable.
Wow, that is unbelievable. I didn't think he could do it a second time to Diego Lopez. He has absolutely stunned the keeper. I thought he had the measure. That was even further out. That was all of 25 yards out. and he stuck it up into the top corner. Absolutely brilliant. No wonder the fans are leaving. Espanyol have been absolutely put to the sword here by that man, that genius of a player. Pele says what? He hasn't got a right foot and he can't head the ball, but he's got the best left foot ever seen in the history of the game. Look at this. Diego Lopez very late to move. I think he thought it was going the other side, the goalkeeper, so there might be something to do with his error, but take nothing away from where Messi puts it. Top corner again.
As you see, where I complimented him even though he was beaten on the first goal by cheating or appearing to cheat to that near post. His brain is telling him to go back to where he should, and that was the only opening Messi needed.
Exactly.
How did you play free kicks, let alone penalties?
You look after your side of the goal, and if they put it the other side where Messi did, you hope to get it. If you don't, you just applaud. The moment you start trying to second guess, which Diego Lopez did there, you get caught not making a move either way, and that's why Lopez didn't get close to that free kick.
44 free kick goals now, club and country for Messi.
But it's, according to Pele, it's not good enough because it was with his left foot and not his right foot or his head. Are we going to keep on mentioning this?
Ruby will. Oh, a little heel flick from Alba, but only as far as Batistao. It's one of those ones, again, you just don't want the water roiled. Roca from distance, but right to Ter Stegen.
So where are we now? We're at 41 goals for Barcelona after 15 matches. We're coming up almost for 3 goals a match. Unbelievable. Season after season.
The strange thing is defensively, they've given up a lot of goals. Here, Piqué trusting his keeper. They've given up 19 goals away, or make that at home. Only 2 clubs have a worse defense than Barcelona, but they are stiff at home. Nice from Borja, trying to drop it back for Villa, but the defense was there.
I think that's why you'll find that they're going to work very hard, Barca, to keep a clean sheet. It's a psychological thing. They've already had 1 clean sheet. We've got 2 balls on the pitch at this stage.
Ref lets them play it through, and it's almost touched in at the corner. Borja in a battle with Piqué. Now Coutinho, Carlos Naval with the card in hand. And it will be the goal scorer, Dembele, who exits. Good match for the youngster.
Oh, absolutely. Brilliant match for him. So good on that left-hand side. His goal was wonderful, but his general play, setting up Messi and Suarez, I thought he was superb today. But good warning from Valverde that I have this man Coutinho on the bench. If you two are going to battle it out for that left-sided wide position, then you're going to have to outperform each other. So he's laying down the gauntlet for Dembele. He's got the shirt at the moment. It's up to Coutinho to try and take it back.
Second time Messi has had a brace of free kicks against Espanyol in his career. The last time 6 years ago in December. And now 20 league goals against his crosstown foe.
Oh, lovely play out wide there with Coutinho.
Espanyol scrambling back. Coutinho rifles it in. Ball flicked on by Messi with his head on the nice touch by Arturo Vidal.
Well, Coutinho says, Dembele, whatever you can do, I can match it. That was a lovely bit of skill on the left-hand side. A good effort and a good save from the keeper. Here it is again. Down that left-hand side he goes. He's going to just open up the gap there, force Diego Lopez into a good save. And Suarez unable to beat the big man. You almost wonder if Valverde could find a situation where he can play Coutinho and Dembele with Suarez and Messi up front. We were discussing this at half-time, and maybe just two holding midfield players, say Rakitic and Busquets.
Maybe give Busquets the day off. Rakitic and Vidal, who has been nearly foot perfect today. Trying to keep it in play, Javi Lopez, but it sends it right back to Barca. Alba marauding forward. Batistao holding off Suarez.
I just wonder whether Sevilla and Atletico Madrid in particular, and even Real Madrid, are looking at this Barca team thinking, hell, we had a chance to get 5, 6, maybe even 10 points ahead of them in this first portion of the season. We haven't taken it. And looking at the way they're playing, it's hard to see them not picking up a lot of points from here to the end of the season.
Coutinho stripped. Iglesias rolls it back for Javi Lopez. Batistao retreats. Well, as you point out, with all of the struggles for Barca and Real Madrid this year, the likes of an Atletico especially, but even a Sevilla who have forced their nose into the picture, might be thinking about what might have been.
Especially for Atleti. They've done so well year after year to be close. Last year, second, ahead of Real Madrid.
Nice by Coutinho. A little sparkle on that one. Busquets for Messi. Up steps Oscar Duarte. Matico wins it back. Messi again. Looks like he's got something to prove.
Yeah, wonderful effort there to try and get the ball back, setting the tone for the rest of the team.
And you're right. Even going at this stage, if you lose it, you win it back. Now on the turn, Sergio and Piqué barking. Now time for the Pirate. Gerard Piqué actually joined the Barcelona system a couple years after Victor Sanchez. They were teammates to La Masia. Setting up the free kick here, looking for a goal of honor. Sergio Garcia. The wily veteran lifts it in and knocked home at the 6. A flood of attackers, and it's Duarte with the touch. The Costa Rican gives Espanyol a goal of honor. It's Barca 4, Espanyol 1.
At last they've taken something from the free kicks and set pieces. Had enough opportunity. Let's have a look. Oh, is he offside?
And that one might come back.
Oh, I think
there is review on all goals, and not just for fouls, but for offside infractions. And Duarte might have had a lean.
Yeah, it did look like he was just offside, which would be such a pity. Let's have a look.
Remember, the defender's arm does not count either. Neither does his arm. And they are reviewing it. So maybe by a span of 6 inches, Duarte too early to the party.
It's such a pity for Espanyol. They've worked hard. They've taken a pounding in this match from Barcelona. They've had one moment of glory, and that's it. And for
now,
it,
Darder is the player who comes out. And Esteban Granero, the one that goes in. It's a 4-goal game at the time of the goal. There's also a question, are you trying to be too perfect? Video review as they're working the video back and forth, judging the time of the pass. And remember, it's the instant the foot hits the ball, not when it leaves. So maybe even that little microscopic period of time might be enough to see Duarte onside, but it was razor close.
plus, you have to prove the referee wrong.
That's true. Was it clearly?
Yeah, clear mistake. So the referee's given it. VAR would have to say the referee made a clear error. And that's very, very hard to see on that.
El Cerro Grande chatting back to Madrid, just on the outskirts of the Federation training grounds. A bit of training for the referees. And now you can see there's a bit of clarification from the video referee. Del Cerro asking his questions back in regards to the specific timing.
If I have one criticism of VAR, it's this process shouldn't take this long. Make a decision, get it done with.
And it's going to be no goal, offside.
Oh, disappointment
off the board,
Espanyol.
and back to 4-0.
But to me, that decision's got to come within 60 seconds or it stays. It's got to be a time limit. But ultimately, if he was offside, then fair enough, he's offside.
So, hard work rewarded, but then ripped away. Espanyol back to the salt mines. Here's Granero. Retreating to Diego Lopez, the ex-Madridista, two-time Real Madrid goalkeeper. Foot race for Iglesias, staying back. Ter Stegen, Iglesias, Semedo pokes it free and pays the price.
Well, they've still got the clean sheet, Barcelona. They'll be happy with that. They'll obviously look back at that free kick and discuss how much tighter their marking should have been. At the end of the day, this could be their second clean sheet in a row, and that's what they want to see. That's what the manager Valverde will really, really be happy about. And these
Beautiful
two, Semedo and Arturo Vidal, have worked so hard down the Barca right-hand side.
Sanchez to Vila, but his blind cross easily intercepted. There is a history between these two. It's been a while since Espanyol has won. They actually did win at the Nou Camp more recently than at home. That was back in February of 2009. Barcelona's treble winning side. And in fact, it was Espanyol that handed Barcelona its first loss at home that year. Talked about the 2007 match when Valverde was in charge of the Parakeets in that 3-1 victory over Barcelona. There was an even more famous matchup at the end of the season. Foul behind the play. And that was the next to last match of the regular season, round 37 at the Nou Camp, when Tamudo scored the goal that would level the score and take the title away from Barcelona. The Tamudazo, they call it. So there might not be a lot of moments for Espanyol in this rivalry, but there are quite a few ones that are worth remembering. This will not be one of them. Suarez for Messi. Around Vila, held up, and finally persistent infringement, and the fans actually applauding the effort.
Well, you got to applaud Messi, even if you're not a fan of...
I think they were applauding Vila.
Oh, they're applauding Vila for doing it.
Foul him again. Barca to the bench again. And it's Munir. And Suarez back from the injury list and on the score sheet. Seems to be having a bit of a bother with his left hand. Not with his left foot. Taking a look back. Just before the half.
Yes, it's Dembele all the way through to Suarez. He does so well to score that goal.
Messi from another free kick. Sails across from Rakitic. His blast deflected away.
I'm just not so sure that this has been the best match for Luis Suarez, as he complains of the pain. He didn't look sharp. He struggled with a lot of his touches. Yet his sheer perseverance got in the goal. So I hope he's going to get better form back soon. I do worry about his age, and at some stage, one day, he will not be the same Suarez, but I hope they're still many years away.
Coutinho back for Messi. Times the run perfectly. Clash of sevens, and Iglesias wins the throw in here off the deflection. 80th minute. Barca by 4 as they look to make their final substitution. Granado dropping it back, and here's our candidates for our forward man of the match. Messi, Dembele, Suarez, and Vidal. Cast your vote on Twitter at beIN Sports USA. We'll let you know the winner at the end. Again, it's easy to say Messi in a situation like that. Dembele, brilliant in the first half. As you said, Suarez was involved, could have had a hat trick. Just had the one. Nice to see Vidal's name up there.
It is. I thought he played very well down this right-hand side, him and Semedo. What a
sloppy ball back by
is.
Semedo. Batistao tries to cross but can't.
Is that the commentator's curse? As I was saying, Semedo and Arturo Vidal have done so well defensively on that right-hand side. He gives the ball away, but Vidal has been strong physically, mentally.
Granado
really has settled in well there.
Onside. Garcia. This header just over the bar. Sanchez only about 5'6". Couldn't quite get over this cross.
He's onside. That's poor defending from Barcelona. Only one player going out to mark 2 from the corner. You're always going to send 2 players out, and that's what happens if you don't. They get time to put the cross in. They get time to find somebody.
Ivan Rakitic is going to be the player that exits, and Denis Suarez is going to be the one checking in. Suarez, one of the heroes midweek in the Cup. And now being rewarded for it on the weekend. Suarez with a brace. Malcolm also scored but injured in the match. So maybe a few more opportunities for Denis Suarez.
I guess at this stage, Barca is still keen to hold on to that clean sheet. Espanyol probably running out of steam. Nothing they can do to turn this around. But I'm just wondering what the Tottenham Hotspurs players are thinking as they get ready to travel to Barcelona for the European Champions League match. You'll be looking at Messi and Dembele and Coutinho and Arturo Vidal and all the whole Sergi Busquets and thinking, wow, we have to go there and try and get a result? Seriously?
I'm a little bit surprised that with a 4-goal lead in less than 10 minutes to go, Valverde not going to the bench maybe for one of the kids like a Carlos Aleñá or even Juan Miranda, the promising young left back. Still a sub to burn. Here's Messi. A goal from a hat trick up to Denis Suarez. The whistle from the stands, not the referee. Munir, the third to come in along with Denis Suarez. Dembele out for Coutinho in the 68th, Munir in the 79th, and Suarez in the 82nd. Busquets across. Alba sneaks it back. Suarez. Batistao in defense. The cross around for Munir. Back to the middle. Vidal can't quite time it, and Espanyol will clear.
Good little cross in from Munir there just to give those in the middle a little half chance of a header. Arturo Vidal committing himself. But I guess if you're a neutral, as much as you admire Barcelona, you probably would have wanted a slightly closer Catalan derby. But one has to just applaud Barcelona's wonderful attacking play and also commend their good defensive stability, and well done Valverde. Picking Arturo Vidal seemed to work well. Picking Dembele worked extremely well. And maybe he's just steadying the ship. They've had a couple of little rocky moments, not too many in defense, but maybe he's now finding a sort of a pattern that really works well for Barcelona.
Sweet touch from Batistao from distance and not far away. Maybe a deflection off the boot of the Brazilian. And the fans who have stuck around hoping for something to take back with them. Work Granero.
All they're going to take back is some wonderful moments from Messi and Dembele and Suarez, and not too many from their home side.
Haven't lost 4 in a row since 2012. Ruby with some work to do. Maybe he could start here in these final 5 minutes. Alba again charging up this right side. Messi spotting Piqué, nods it back. Suarez and Coutinho in the attack. Suarez bumped off the ball. It'll be a free kick from about 40 yards out on an angle.
Tough day for the Espanyol fans. It's one thing losing to your Catalan rivals. It's a different thing being absolutely and completely outplayed. They've had nothing to cheer except the one disallowed goal, I guess. They've had very little to hang their hat on. It's just been Barcelona, and to be fair, it could easily have been 6 or 7. That's how good Barca and that man in particular, Messi, have been today.
All driven just past Vidal, just in front of Longley.
See the attitude of Arturo Vidal. He was hitting the ground there. He was so angry with himself that he hadn't got on the end of that. And that's a fantastic attitude to have. You're 4-0 up, dying moments, and he's still annoyed that he didn't take the opportunity that came his way. I think he's going to be a wonderful addition to this Barcelona team. He brings grit and desire and determination.
You've seen it throughout his career, wherever he's gone. And in some ways you could say that determination, one of the reasons he got in trouble. Ball headed back. Ter Stegen not going to be able to get there. Corner kick Espanyol. He's just got a hunger to be out there contributing. And now he's getting a chance. 4-goal lead in Valverde, still arguing over the fine points with Sergio Perez. Busquets back. Even while he's fouled, he finds a teammate. Take another look. The white line is the offside line for Duarte.
Wow. That is super close.
Bit of a foot race. Far side for Coutinho.
With that goal, Phil, if it had been a 1-0 game, we'd be sitting here arguing and debating and talking about how close it was. At 4-0, it doesn't make any difference. It's probably a pity for Espanyol fans that didn't get a goal at all, but for Barca defense, they wanted that clean sheet there. Looks like they're going to get it.
Vidal pleading his innocence to deaf ears. Well, after this match, Espanyol will take on Real Betis before traveling to the Wanda to face Atletico. So neither match will be easy. Barcelona, meanwhile, as you mentioned, Spurs midweek. Then maybe a chance for revenge. Levante, the team that tarnished their league season last year, they'll head to Valencia to face them. Then Celta to round out December and head into the winter break. Granero. Real Madrid product through Getafe. Starting to wind down the string a bit, but still pretty good at threading the needle on free kicks. This one across, snapped towards Ter Stegen by Duarte. This one stopped.
Semedo doing really well there. You don't always have to win the ball as a centre half. You've got to make sure the striker doesn't get a clean header. In the end, the striker wins the header. There's no power in it. Ter Stegen just scoops up. So well done again to Semedo. And with Sergio Roberto out for a while, this could be his opportunity to cement that number 2 spot for his on a permanent basis.
Out for Munir. Now Denis Suarez back for El Haddadi. How much time will be added on? Would imagine 2, maybe 3 minutes. And right after the conclusion of this match, the extra coming up next. Check out the highlights from a busy day in Spain. Maybe a look ahead towards some big matches as well on the weekend. Back for Granero. Out wide. Vidal with the touch. Keeps Borja onside. 5 minutes added. Well, we did have the delay for the VAR reviewed no goal. Flipped on Sanchez. Drives it back to the spot. Borja denied by Semedo. Battling for it in the box. Across for Vila. And now we know why he's a left back.
Arturo Vidal, he's got stuck in. He's been kicked a few times these last few minutes. Total commitment from him. And Semedo with the block on that shot. This is what Valverde will be pleased with. The fact that Barca are fighting right up until the end. Even though they're 4-0 ahead. Semedo making the block there. Arturo Vidal gets hurt by his own player. Long leg comes right over his calf. Wow, and puts a lot of... That's a... That was a player of a different colour shirt. That would be a red card offence. Arturo Vidal really committed totally to defending for the Barcelona cause.
They've already used all of their substitutes. Vidal, Langley. I guess that passes for an apology.
He looked at him when Langley said, "I'm sorry." He looked at him and seriously. Oh, there's a kick in the back for Sergio
right
Busquets.
in the kidney. And Busquets also heading to the side. Both of them needing treatment. And that means both of them will have to go out. So at least for a brief moment, Espanyol with a two-man advantage.
I just love the look on Arturo Vidal's face when Langley apologized.
And again, even with a 4-goal lead, Piqué reminding everyone, stay back defensively.
I get a sense that this Barcelona team know that they have the chance to win everything. It's a year in which Real Madrid have struggled to get any consistency. Atletico Madrid are good, but maybe not just good enough. And a treble could be on, and I think Messi said that early on. He wants the European Champions League and the rest of it. So they're probably getting a bit of head of steam going now, saying, hey guys, if we defend, we can win absolutely everything this season.
Barca back at full strength. Messi takes the scenic route around Vila, cuts to the inside, plays it, kept moving. Coutinho, Alba now. Messi with 2 goals. Looks like they're trying to feed him for a third. Another hopeful whistle from the stands, which are now nearly empty.
Yeah, there's been very little for Espanyol fans to cheer about today. Really, they've hardly tested Ter Stegen.
Granero tackled away by Alba, who protests. Lopez wants the ball back quickly. Tucked in for Granero. Wide for Sanchez. And Borja Iglesias a bit flat-footed. Bounding Barca's way, but Sanchez back in time. Through, but again, Borja. The mind wants to, the legs just don't have the gas.
I just wonder if Ruby's pushed him too hard early on, and I'm just guessing. I'm not basing this on any sort of huge study of his coaching ways, but to play as well as Espanyol did up until about 4 weeks ago, and then to collapse so badly, you just wonder if they gave absolutely everything and then ran out of gas.
At the same point with these matches coming up against Betis and Leganés and even La Real, so 3 of the next 4 are winnable matches. If they're going to stay in contention for a European spot, they're going to need to claim some points. And maybe, just maybe, to be a bit more pragmatic than they were here today.
Well, it's lovely football, and I really commend Ruby for wanting to play the beautiful game, but there's a reason to also be defensively tight and physically aggressive. If Barcelona can do it, then I think it's important for Espanyol to do it as well. So well done, Ruby, but time maybe to tweak his tactics.
Now Munir, shot deflected, which takes the steam off. Lopez quickly turns it the other way. Roca, Vila. Duarte. Well handled by Diego Lopez as we wait the final whistle. In for Granero. Espanyol had a goal briefly taken away. Barca with Lionel Messi, 2 goals and an assist, the difference. Granero out wide. That's Cerro Grande. Looks like he'll let them play this one out. Into the middle for Sergio. Garcia tripped up. Foul against Vidal, and maybe one last crack at the apple.
Look at Vidal still getting stuck in there, still aggressive, still trying to stop Espanyol playing. Does he make much of a contact? Yes, he does. The 2 boots do collide. But just looking at this is a marker for me. Barcelona 4-0 away in a Catalan derby. I think they're putting their marker down, saying, guys, we're going to keep going for it now. We've found our form. Catch us if you can.
Granero again teeing it up. 5 ready to charge in. Delicate for Garcia. Forced wide by Munir. Tries to cut in. Trickles wide, and that is going to do it. Barcelona into enemy ground and dominates Espanyol in a 4-0 victory. Arturo Vidal getting the start here today. A lot of the hard work, but it's Lionel Messi who will earn the plaudits. 2 goals and an assist. Our forward man of the match.
Oh, he was brilliant in everything, not just the goals he scored, the assist, but the hard work he put in to make those goals possible, winning free kicks, keeping possession of the ball, even chasing back 40, 50 yards to get back possession after he had lost it. Absolutely brilliant, Mr. Lionel Messi.
Well, maybe the warm-up for Europe midweek, and they passed in flying colors.